Alright, so I had some friends in town over the weekend, and we took this on a little shakedown run, break-in with the 35s and the gears and everything. So this is the first real off-road that I've done with this since the gears have been completed and the 35s are on it. I didn't bring my camera, but my friend recorded on his phone, so there's a little bit of wind noise, and it's hard to tell. I'm basically driving in a granite bowl, so it's kind of hard to tell what the terrain looks like and what the drop-offs and everything look like, but definitely some of the biggest obstacles that I've taken this up so far. Only these two little clips right here, these two little clips is all I have, but you know, it's something. Got a lot of other stuff going on too. I finally got 220 in the garage now, so I'm going to be getting a bigger welder pretty soon for some changes that I'm going to make to this. I got some other stuff too, like garage door installation is going on. I've got some work on the mini bikes that I'm trying to get done. And I've got other stuff going on with the house, like gutters and stuff. So I've been really busy. So here's the clips from the Moon Rocks for the break-in shakedown run of this on 35s with the gears. Then I'll talk about changes that I'm going to make next.
You're stuffed in the front right now.
I don't want the tire to be that fucking. You're all right. You're gonna start coming off right here. Oh well. Yeah.
Your tires are gonna drop in a second too.
That's what I wanted. I wanted to get to the right part.
Your left's about to drop.
Well, I'm good with where the left side tire is.
You got a little bit of room before you start dropping hard. Not a lot.
So as you could probably tell from those clips, the Jeep has great traction. It's got pretty good flex considering what it is. But the biggest problem is steering. So at certain points while I was out there, the steering would get bound up really bad. There's a couple of problems that I'm aware of with the steering. The first of all is the power steering fluid itself. It is very brown, very dirty, looks like pond water. Has probably never been changed. At least it hasn't been changed since I had it. Who knows when the previous owner changed it, if he ever even did. Second problem, just general, is the pump and the steering box. They are both original. They are both 32 years old. The pump makes noise when it starts to really work, when it's getting hot. I think changing the fluid will help a lot with that. And I'm going to add a power steering cooler as well. See what kind of improvements I get with that. The hood vent, was part of adding the hood vent was to help keep the steering cool, keep the steering pump and everything cool. But that can only do so much, that passive cooling. So I need to add the cooler with new fluid and a little bit of extra capacity of fluid that I'm going to get from the cooler. I think will help with just the pump in general and help. Maybe it won't make noise as bad if it gets too hot. I don't know. We'll see. I got some other plans. I got some other ideas if that doesn't work. But the biggest problem, without a doubt, is right here. At full compression on the passenger side, the drag link from the pitman arm down to the steering knuckle, that drag link hits the frame. So I've known this was a problem for a while, but I didn't do anything about it because I wanted to see how close the 35s came to the fender and what the bump stops would do at full compression and that sort of stuff. The tires do touch the fender flare, but just barely. So I don't think I need any I don't think I really need any bump stop added. I might add half an inch, but it really doesn't need much. I took a picture at full compression on this side when the drag link was hitting the frame, and you can see that the bump stop is actually just starting to touch. The frame bump stop is just starting to touch the bump stop on the axle. So it really doesn't need much once I get this drag link sorted out. And what I'm going to do, I didn't want to do this. I was hoping I'd find another solution, but there really isn't one without lifting the Jeep more or something like that. I'm going to notch the frame. So that's one of the reasons I want the bigger welder. I want a 220 welder to do the frame welds. I'll make a video about that specifically, obviously, but I don't think it's going to need much. Maybe an inch notched out, if that. So I'll take some measurements, see what I need to do there, and get that sorted out for good. I plan on running the Rubicon this year in this, and I definitely want steering when I'm on the Rubicon. So overall, I'm pretty pleased. It did really well. The transmission didn't have any issues. It didn't leak at any point or blow smoke or anything crazy. And we had it up at, like 65, 70 miles an hour on the way out to the Moon Rocks. Wheeled at the Moon Rocks for a couple hours, whatever, and then drove 65, 70 miles an hour all the way back home, and it was perfect. It didn't have any crazy shake or shimmy or anything like that. Transmission was good. I'm really glad that I went with 456s and not 488s because at 60 miles an hour, this thing is sitting at 2,800 RPM. So that engine is really turning at those speeds, and if I had done any higher of a gear, I don't think I'd be able to do highway as comfortably as it can. It's not exactly a comfortable highway cruiser, but it can do it, and that's what matters. So for this thing to have gears that I did front and rear, a rear axle that I swapped in, 35-inch tires mounted on steel bead locks that I mounted and balanced with airsoft BBs. Full custom steering that I put together using WJ knuckles and DOM links and all that kind of stuff, and an alignment that I did by myself. All that stuff, it's working really well. It drives down the road. I can drive it with one hand and feel comfortable. I can go off-road with it, feel comfortable, feel stable. I'm pretty pleased with where it is right now. Alright, so let's talk about where this Jeep is going to go. First things first, This board is almost completely done. I wrote this board 2 years ago, and it was mainly to get this Jeep ready for Moab. Moab is done. Now the Rubicon is on the board, but it's got a bunch of outdated stuff on it that's been crossed off for years, like the CB and my before and after lift height and all that stuff. And there's only 4 things left: drive shaft U-bolts, power steering cooler, trans cooler, steering box brace. Those are the only things that aren't marked out. So first things first, I'm gonna start over. Okay. All right, first things first. Front T-case yoke. This is how I'm gonna change the front drive shaft to use U-bolts instead of use straps. Some people can get away with drilling out the yoke. I can't do that, but I'll talk about more of that later. All right, power steering cooler and flush for all the reasons we talked about. Transmission cooler. This may or may not be needed for the Rubicon, but I'm going to do it anyway. A little bit more fluid and a little bit more cooling capacity if I'm going to be crawling around for 3 days or 2 days, however long it takes us to do the trail. And it's something I've been planning to add anyway, so that's still on the list. Steering box brace, again, may or may not be needed. But I've showed this in a previous video. I have one. It's been sitting on my floor for a year, and it doesn't fit. So I'm gonna have to cut it and modify it and re-weld it and that sort of stuff. Some basic maintenance stuff. Change engine oil because it's been 2 years since I've changed it. And change gear oil at 500 miles. So the front, I'm ready to change the gear oil in the front axle. The rear axle is not quite there yet, another 300 miles or so. So that's all I really need to do before the Rubicon. There's a couple other things I want to do, like new winch. The winch that is on this Jeep is the original Smitty built winch from like 2007 or 2008. It does work, but I don't trust it. I don't trust it to run hard, assuming I need it on the Rubicon Trail. I want to have a winch I can rely on. So I'm probably going to switch to a Warn. I'll probably try one of their new VR Evo. Well, they're not exactly a brand new winch. They've been out for a couple years, but new to me. So I've had a Warn Xeon in the past. I've had the Smitty build. I've had a couple of Quadratec winches and some other Chinese winches, but I think I'm going to try a Warn VR for this Jeep. Probably a 10,000 pound. This Jeep doesn't need a 10,000 pound winch, but everybody that I go wheeling with would probably need a 10,000 pound winch because everybody else has super huge Jeeps compared to mine. Also, I'm thinking about switching bumpers on the front. I might go with a stubby. So that remains to be seen. I'll see what the budget is like when I'm ready to buy one. Oh, and I need to fix the spare. It is leaking. I need to reseat the beadlock ring because it is leaking and it gets down to 0 PSI. So I want a spare when we do the Rubicon. Oh, and notch the frame, which is probably the biggest thing on the list, and grease everything because it needs it. Alright, so next couple videos will be a few more little things, little tweaks here and there. I'm also going to throw the half doors on pretty soon. And then in the next, it's May, so June, July, August. In the next 3 to 4 months, Rubicon. I will finally be running the Rubicon Trail. I've only been talking about it for 14 years, so I'm finally going to do it. I also have some Toyota stuff going on too, but it's nowhere near as entertaining or dramatic, but I do have a couple things. And I have a couple mods that I want to do to my trailer as well. So I got a lot of stuff going on, but I'll get to it eventually.